We've seen how fast we can eat a mushroom in every Mario game, and even how fast we can eat every mushroom there is across all of Mario. But what about grabbing the most treasured item in the entire Mushroom Kingdom, the Superstar? And I know these are very arbitrary challenges, and calling them speedruns might be the last thing that they should be called, but if there is a Guinness World Record for the most blindfolded, backwards standing somersaults in 1 minute, then I think this might have the same amount of merit. And luckily for us, Chiz Plays has decided to join in on the obscurity and has already completed a Superstar run, allowing us to try and beat his technically existing world record, starting off with Super Mario Bros. For the NES. The star is very simple. It's located on 1-1, and all we have to do is make our way past a couple of pipes, jump over some Goombas, and right before reaching the cluster of 4 blocks, hit the second brick right here to get our first star. Next up is Super Mario Bros. 2, which unlike the first game doesn't have stars just out for the grabbing, and the only way to get a star is to grab 5 cherries on any level, which luckily for us there are 2 cherries at the start, and immediately after jumping the waterfall, the next 3 cherries are waiting for us to grab, spawning our star for us to get. On to Super Mario Bros. 3, which requires a thing called P-Speed, which boosts Mario's speed after running for a set period of time, and by obtaining it with a small little backstep jump at the very beginning of the level, can be carried all the way to the end without ever having to slow down, giving us a near perfect time to grab the star at the end of the level. And for the sake of competition, we are going to be playing the exact same 15 games that Chiz played in his Superstar run, which basically every Mario game ever created has some form of Superstar. So as to why he chose these 15 specifically, it could just be because these are the 15 games he owns, or he just couldn't be bothered to do this for over 50 different games, but either way, we're going to do the same ones. Super Mario World has a surprisingly low amount of superstars throughout the entire game, but the very first one is just as the original, placed on a block on World 1-4. So we run through the first 2 levels, start up 1-4, and make our way towards the water to grab the star in the very first question block we can find. Up next is Super Mario 64, and up until this point, I feel like I have kept pretty good pace for the first 4 games, but there are 2 tricks in Mario 64 that I haven't been able to master just yet, which are the Lakitu skip and bomb clip, and sadly in this run, I missed both. At the start of Super Mario 64, by jumping along the ledge of the castle as close to the edge as you can get, you can actually skip the cutscene of Lakitu flying up to you and jump right inside. And then once in Bob-omb Battlefield where the first star is located, you just grab the Bob-omb next to the Chain Chomp, and then you can maneuver yourself in such a way to clip right through the iron bars. Otherwise, you just have to ground pound the post that is connected to the Chain Chomp, allowing it to break down the bars for you, opening up the star for Super Mario 64. Up next is Super Mario Sunshine, which is about 50% cutscene, but once getting off our flight and noticing the goops scattered across the pier, all we do is grab Flood, learn how to use it, and then defeat the polluted piranha to get our star. Or shine. I guess it's technically not a star. I don't make the rules. Now it's on to Mario Kart Double Dash, and I assume that any Mario Kart would be sufficient for this, but I don't really see any huge benefit of doing one over the other, so Double Dash it is. We start off with the Mushroom Cup as there is a box right at the start of Luigi's Circuit, get ourselves in last place, and get the star on our very first box. Next up is Super Smash Bros. Melee for some reason, and it's the fastest of the bunch. We start up training mode, spawn the Starman, and grab the star in just over 5 seconds. Super Mario Galaxy is the longest game of the bunch. In order to get the first star, we just have to beat the first level of the game. The first 5 minutes is basically just a bunch of cutscenes, mixed with us running through the destroyed Mushroom Kingdom, and then it places us on our first planet, where we have to catch 3 rabbits, and they're always in the same 3 locations. The first one is in the grass, followed by the second one in the pipe, and the last one being in the crater. And once collecting all 3 rabbits, we meet Luna and Rosalina at the top of the building, and shoot off to the first level. We then just have to collect some star pieces, kill a massive Goomba, and then head into the center of the final planet, turn on all of the switches, and grab the first star of Super Mario Galaxy. On to Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, which only has one event that has the option to give us a superstar, and that is in the Dream Race mode. And luckily for us, the Dream events are only available upon completion of all the normal events, so we just get to play a lot of Olympic games before even getting to try and grab the star. But once unlocking the events, similar to Mario Kart, we are just racing against other players, only this time it's on foot and it's a lot worse. But the same idea applies. We just go along the track, grab as many item boxes as we can, and hopefully one of them contains a star. Next up is Super Mario Bros. Wii, which the very first star is not on World 1-1, but instead it's on World 1-2. So we grab ourselves a propeller mushroom on the very first level and fly our way to the end. We start up 1-2, and right before the first checkpoint we break enough blocks to head under the platform and get our first star. Super Mario Galaxy 2 is similar to the first one. It requires us to beat the first level of the game to get the first star. But this galaxy also contains a rainbow star. In most 3D Mario games, the superstar isn't used to transform Mario into being invincible. In Mario 64, the stars are just for collection, same with the shrines in Sunshine and the stars in Galaxy. But since Galaxy also wanted to give Mario invincibility to not confuse them with the collectible stars, there were superstars that were turned rainbow. And in Super Mario Galaxy 2, there just so happens to be a rainbow star before the first actual star, allowing us to get it much faster. On to Super Mario 3D World, which instead of the normal superstar has green stars, which act as the collectibles in the game. So we just run to the first clear pipe, take the first exit, and get our star. And for the final 3D Mario game of the run, Super Mario Odyssey, which has moons instead of stars, but in the Mushroom Kingdom, those moons actually look like stars, but are still technically called moons. But either way, in Chiz's video, they are completely ignored, and he just gets the first power moon. So I really didn't need to explain any of that. Either way, the first star or moon of Mario Odyssey is in Cascade Kingdom, so we just have to make our way to the top of the first area, defeat the first boss, and head on to Cascade to get our first moon. We then just spam skip some cutscenes, run to the first chain chomp, and break the rock, giving us the first moon. And that leaves us with the final and most RNG-based game of the run, Mario Party Superstars. One would think that in the Mario Party games, the fastest way to get a star would just to give yourself a handicap at the start with 1 star. You then load into the game and would be given a star at the start of the round. But that actually isn't the fastest way to do it, you just have to get pretty lucky. In Mario Party Superstars, there's a game mode that's called Tag Match, which consists of 2 versus 2 minigames, and after each win, you can get a star. The only thing is that doing the handicap method of starting a game with a star is faster than winning a game of Tag Match for every single minigame, except for one sometimes. Basically, every minigame in Tag Match is either a 60-second timed minigame or a race minigame that typically will take more than 60 seconds. The only minigame that isn't is called Burns Tile, which ends once all players from a team has fallen off. The only thing is that if everyone survives for most of the round, we could have just done the handicap strat. So the best strategy to get the fastest time possible is to get lucky and get Burns Tile as the minigame, and then immediately fall off, so that all of the computer characters become worse and are more likely to lose, and then you just have to hope that your partner wins the round. So basically, the final star is completely out of your control, but either way, once your partner wins, we get the final star. And that's how fast you can grab a superstar in every Mario game. It's not every Mario game, but it's a decent amount, and I'm technically the fastest to ever do it. But please don't try it yourself. It's not worth it. Just let me say number 1. Anyways, here's how I compare to the only other recorded run of this. Thanks for watching.